This is day 4. I had my cataract surgery on Thursday, and then the bandage was removed on Friday. I didn't film video on Saturday, and so here we are at Sunday. And I wanted to say some of the things that have happened and that I'm noticing. First of all, I'm very glad that I did this. It's outstanding. I'm really liking my far vision. I can see detail on distant hills that I never thought that anybody could see. That's outstanding. And like I was saying the other day, I'm seeing colors that I've never seen before, particularly reds and yellows appear more saturated to me, and sometimes greens too. So all of that's great. Yesterday I tried driving for the first time just for about 10 minutes. They say you're not supposed to drive for like a week, and I think it's depth perception issues. In my case, I think that I probably had an easier time transitioning back into that because I had been wearing my glasses for 6 weeks, and with my glasses I have terrible depth perception, so I have to follow very closely, be very careful pulling out into traffic, and it's always been that way. So I'd always driven with my rigid gas permeable contact lenses on. So I think that was my biggest adjustment during the 6 weeks that I wasn't allowed to wear contact lenses prior to surgery, was the fact that I had to wear my glasses to drive. So as soon as I got this done, and I can see everything so much better with my left eye, driving was a pretty easy adjustment. The first day when they removed the bandage, there's no way. Everything was too blurry, especially the first part of the day. There was no way, I should have been driving anywhere. Yesterday, after riding around in a car, I was realizing that I could do it. And I drove with somebody so that I could be told and coached if I seemed like I was approaching vehicles too fast or not noticing things. But that went really well. So I drove, like I say, about 10 minutes yesterday, and then today I drove myself to a few places around town. I'm finding that the far distance is good, seeing things really far, but I'm finding that things about kind of a middle distance, I'm not reading signs. Maybe I'm not a good judge of distance, but I'm not reading signs very well a ways down the road. But I think that they told me that I would need a little bit of some glasses and then something to correct the near stuff. So, but definitely safe to drive. I don't know if everybody's going to have that transition. I've always had a little bit different depth perception than everybody else because this eye is so much more underpowered than this eye, and so it gives me the lazy eye, which I'm not correcting in the video right now, so you can see it in case you have my eye situation. Normally I go through great efforts to make sure my lazy eye doesn't appear on photos and videos, but this time I'm letting it be seen and known. One adjustment has to do with the medicines. So there were 4 different medicines. One of them has the side effect of making you drowsy, although that's one of the ones I take for the eye pressure in the morning and night, and so it hasn't made me too tired. I think most of the tiredness has come from just being around, using my eyes, switching between all these reading glasses, trying to find the right one. There's a different power of reading glasses that seems to work better for looking at my phone than works better for looking at the computer, and then I have an older pair that's not as good as either, but it doesn't tire my eyes out as fast. My eyes are getting tired from all of that. I did a little driving today, went over to Costco, and I found that my eyes were getting pretty tired, including this eye though, which I think is encouraging because it means my brain's not just shutting it down and is trying to use it and use it for depth perception even, but it's very blurry. And I went over to the Costco optical to try to get one of those plano lenses, or however they pronounce it, to put in this eye because this eye is the corrected one now. And but they didn't have it, and they sent me to a different place tomorrow, so I'll give an update on that. But I'm wondering if that'll keep my eyes from getting so tired, or at least this one from getting so tired. One of the things that happened yesterday, you're not supposed to do any kind of work, not even housework, for I think it was a week, is what the paperwork says. And with my new eyesight, I'm seeing stuff around the house that looks dirty to me that I hadn't noticed before with the cataracts. So I went on a little bit of maybe a 45-minute or hour-long cleaning spree, and I was pretty tired after that. It wore me. I didn't know why, but I laid down on the couch for a little while, rested my eyes, and I felt better pretty soon. I was not sure why. I hadn't taken any of the eye drops that had the side effect of drowsiness, and I talked to a registered nurse that I know and asked her why I would get tired after a little bit of light housework, and she said that's normal after surgery. You know, your body's healing itself, even though the repairs and incisions were really small in your eye. She said that it's still, you know, the fact is you had surgery, and something like light housework is going to make you tired. So that's a consideration when you have cataract surgery and you're deciding to go back to work. A few things that I've had to consider were that this eye, my right eye, I can't drive with it and I can't read with it. So I can't simply close the eye that had surgery and get by. So that's one thing. I can't close this eye and then read like I always have, because I've never been able to read with that eye. So it has been quite an adjustment figuring out how I am going to deal at work using computers and you know, I'm a teacher looking at worksheets, presenting things, looking at pages of books, and I've decided to take 2 more days off, Monday and Tuesday. And then when I go back Wednesday, my strategy ahead of time is I think I'm going to use rely on try to display something with the document camera, and then I think if I stand farther back away from the screen itself, I think I'll be fine. But we'll see. My planning period might be another story, you know, working on lesson plans and sitting there and grading papers and things. Another consideration is the fact that after surgery you get tired. And so sitting around the house for a couple days now, I've had the luxury of laying down, closing my eyes, resting up, watching TV when I want, and during a day at work, you don't have the option to do that. And so that'll be rough. Right now my eyes are tired. They're tired because I've been trying to do stuff all day, and I've gotten them tired out all day long, and right now I have the luxury of resting, but you won't have that if you go back to work. And then side effects of the medicine, depending when they have you take the drops that cause drowsiness anyway, you know, that's a consideration. Another consideration when deciding to go back to work, a reason not to do it too soon, is simply that your eyesight's adjusting still all the time. It seems like it's a little different each day, and what reading glasses work are a little bit different, but it is getting better. It's getting better and better. On my phone, I'm finding that I can, you know, I moved it to a notch smaller on the text size on the phone, and that seemed to work pretty well. And one more thing I want to talk about is that last night I went to a play that one of my daughters was in, and so I got a chance to see, you know, what would happen with all the stage lights and everything, and if I would get the glares and things, you know, and I didn't. The colors of the costumes and the sets were beautiful, and I could see them really well. And what I couldn't see was my daughter's face. I couldn't see the individual faces on the stage, and I would need some eye correction for that. And I had to keep asking somebody which one was my daughter, because I knew what her costume looked like, but I couldn't tell. You know, there were 4 different people, I think, with the same costume, and so that was a little bit difficult for me to tell. And I had also heard on some of the other videos that people were having trouble with street lights at night, and I wasn't. I didn't drive or anything, but I was paying attention because I wanted to know if I would be able to drive at night and if I would have trouble with lights, and it wasn't any different than wearing contact lenses. In fact, maybe from what I saw so far, maybe better. And I think that, you know, I got a little washout from looking at lights. I did find today that I had a little bit easier time recognizing faces than I did just yesterday. When I was out and about today, you know, I saw a few people I know. I went to a Starbucks, and then as soon as I called my attention, you know, I realized who it was right away. And I'm finding it interesting that I can see so far away, but recognizing faces from 10 feet away has been difficult for me. But that's adjusting, and today it was better. And then I saw somebody I knew at Costco and knew right away who it was. And I find that interesting. I'm not sure the reason why recognizing faces in particular was a little bit different, you know, and difficult the first couple of days. I think today driving and realizing that my brain wasn't shutting down the lazy eye, and I was actually, you know, my brain was trying to use it and I was trying to see out of it. That's got me, you know, a little bit eager to get the other eye done, because they are going to do this eye, even though it's not considered correctable by the eye doctors usually. It does correct it's hard to explain, but even with that eye corrected, I can see shapes clearly. It brings color out, but I still can't see, I still can't read with it, and driving with it would not be a good idea. I'm not sure why, but when I read letters, I can't tell where they are, and so